mawala na.
Tragedy has struck this season of 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, as Sheila's family mourns a devastating loss just hours after David arrived to meet them all. It was a really sad episode. Honestly, none of our couples had a particularly good time this week.
I was wearing the previous ring from my previous marriage. That was nicer.
So let's get into it, I guess. 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 6, Episode 9. I'm Anna Rumor, and this is Pop Culture Social Call. Let's start with Sheila. You'll remember that in last week's episode, David arrived and met her parents, and he was really shocked at just how bad the living conditions were for Sheila and her family. Well, that very night, Sheila's mom suffered a fatal fall down through the stairs, which collapsed slightly, and because it was the middle of the night, no one heard. Now, obviously, Sheila and her family were devastated, and while David tried to be supportive, he ultimately realized it would be better for him to just go to a hotel for a couple days while Sheila's family figured everything out. And while he returned to support Sheila at the funeral, it's just gonna be a very different trip than anyone imagined.
I have been crying every day and night since my mother's death.
I mean, after that, the rest of this episode feels very not dire, but there's still a lot to unpack. Like with Christian and Cleo. I was proud of Cleo for voicing her needs when it came to Christian chatting up those other girls during their first real day together, and while he denied that he was flirting with them, he did apologize. Now, Cleo is still nervous, though, about what this means moving forward, especially when Christian said he's worried their first bad night together would put a damper on their relationship.
I literally always feel like I'm a fool. Like, I literally always feel that I'm a burden because I'm autistic, especially when it comes to romance.
Much like Riley having his friend scold Violet on FaceTime put a damper on theirs. Well, more than a damper, both Violet and Riley ended up blocking each other after the big restaurant blowout, and they both blame each other for what happened.
I don't regret telling her pretty much I'm not putting up with the nonsense anymore.
And Violet said she won't be letting history repeat itself again with men who don't stand up for her, like her ex-husband.
Tôi không thể phát triển mối quan hệ với một người đàn ông nếu như tôi cảm thấy anh ấy không thể bảo vệ tôi.
They're both so stubborn, I have no idea how this is going to move forward. Much like Jasmine and Gino. Looks like couples counseling didn't do much because these two are back at it again. Jasmine wanted a new ring to replace the engagement ring Gino gave her, and he was not going to do that with how much they've been fighting.
Change your attitude.
I have an attitude because
I'm not ready to buy a ring today. You can buy it yourself.
But it soon became clear this actually wasn't about a ring at all. It was about Jasmine thinking Gino needed to pay for an immigration attorney to get her K1 situation figured out faster. But Gino countered that he did this whole process with his Brazilian ex-wife all by himself before, and he wasn't paying for a lawyer. Now, it's not a bad argument, but this definitely will lead to one next week.
when we have sex, I have never had an orgasm with you.
Yes, you have.
I fake it.
Maybe Gino needs to look into another kind of lawyer. A divorce lawyer? Just to be ready. Now we close out this week with Dempsey and Statler, who are really getting to know each other in Dempsey's little caravan. Like, really know each other.
And now I'm like settled in and it's like, wait a second, there's like less space than I'm realizing.
Dempsey learns that Statler previously cheated on a partner during a relationship, which causes her major pause, especially when it's Statler who was accusing her of maybe being a little shady during her trip to Thailand.
That's like blows my mind that you would think that.
Close quarters make for quick enemies, and so does a lack of indoor plumbing. Now, this was a really wild episode. I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe while you're there, and head over to popculture.com for the latest in entertainment news. Until next time, I'm Anna Rumor, and this is Pop Culture Social Call.